got a lot to discuss, especially when it comes to P Brain, P Willie, aka Porsha Williams. Listen, I don't understand what's going on with her at all. She is always caught up in some kind of mess. And it has been that way since pretty much her first or second season on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the other day was no exception. So she was on a plane riding from Vegas to Atlanta when all of a sudden, video cameras capture her being escorted off of the airplane by FBI agents, which is very, very strange. Like when people act up on planes and authorities are called, as far as I'm concerned, it's typically just, the local airplane security or whatever, or maybe the local police force. But the fact that she was followed by the FBI is particularly surprising or interesting or intriguing. And as of now, there haven't been any true details that have come out about it. It's just mainly eyewitness accounts on what she was like, what the interaction was like. So I don't know if you guys have managed to watch the video on TMZ's website, but there's a video. She looks really chill. So it doesn't seem like she's worried that anything is going to happen to her or anything like that. But that's the thing, right? Sometimes people, even if they're in a lot of trouble, they do like to try to kind of save face by downplaying the situation so that it doesn't draw too much attention. And if that's the case, then, this would be kind of a smart strategy on Porsha's end. In the video, there's a lady that tells Porsha that she loves her. Porsha thanks the lady. It's almost like, the FBI agents, and they weren't even hostile with Porsha either, right? So, for all we know, Porsha could have been the victim in a situation and the FBI agents might be helping her. Seriously, we really do not have any kind of information. I know she has a history of violence and trouble and whatnot, but in this case, there truly have not been any details leaked. So I would abstain from automatically assuming that she is in some sort of trouble or that she committed some sort of crime. But let me get into the TMZ article about the entire ordeal. So they said that the incident went down on Sunday night on her flight from Vegas to Atlanta. She was just leaving BravoCon. And she is accompanied by officers, and a spokesperson for FBI Atlanta told TMZ, and I quote, FBI Atlanta is aware of an incident on a Delta Air flight on November 16th, allegedly involving Porsha Williams and or at least one other person. We are looking to see whether any federal charges may or may not apply. Again, we don't know if Porsha is the victim or the aggressor. However, given Porsha's history of violence and aggression, including towards the elderly, I wouldn't be surprised if she were the aggressor. One thing about Porsha is she will never back down from a fight. And look at what it might have landed her now. You have to be really, really careful about these sorts of things. Violence is already never the answer, but especially not in an airport or on an airplane, right? Because this could potentially land Porsha Williams on a no-fly list. And I know she's a big fan of the Underground Railroad, but it is not as efficient for travel, domestic or international, unfortunately, as air travel is, right? So if she were to land herself on the do not fly list, I'm sorry, y'all, that would be absolutely hilarious as a Porsha hater. Truly, truly, truly. Almost a lost cause, so to speak, right? At her age, what is she, like 45 or something like that, and still walking around allegedly beating people like it's nothing, like she's a high schooler on lunch break or something with a bone to pick over her lunch money, like it's absolutely, absolutely ridiculous. Get well soon, Teresa. Get well soon. I'm so sorry to hear that you are not doing well. Oh my goodness. I really, really hope that things look up for you soon, my darling. Yes, I do remember you. And I agree, Terry. I just don't know what it is. It's giving Groundhog's Day a little bit, right? Let's see, you guys, what do you have to say? Jamie says most flights have a marshal on deck. Tia says that had to be embarrassing. Latasha says that's a really nice picture of peach juice. Yeah, it is. I have to admit, she is very, very, very photogenic. Alex says, how can you have access to so much class and have no home training? It's true. Like, I really wish that she would elevate her mentality. Sorry, but Portia's got that hood rat mentality, and I don't even think she, grew up in the hood, so to speak. From what I understood, her mother was a successful businesswoman. She grew up middle class to upper middle class. Then she got married to a professional athlete. And ever since, she's been living in the lap of luxury. So, I do not understand where this kind of mentality comes from with her. Two Snap says, I wonder if Simon reported her. Listen, it might be payback because I still do believe that Porsha's the one that got his ass deported. Joy says, I'm still here for the shade. Grace is listen, it's the truth. It is nothing but the truth. Becky says, Underground Railroad. What was the most embarrassing? Truly, she's like, listen, there got to be air holes. Listen, maybe she can go ahead and get those air holes, air pockets installed for herself then, because that is how she's going to be traveling if she truly is on that do not fly list. The FBI, even though she didn't leave in handcuffs or anything like that, they're still saying that there is a possibility of charges being laid. Oh my God, if Porsha were to be charged for a federal, like that would be absolutely insane. She's already got a mugshot. She's already been into her own legal issues, but this would really, truly take the cake. Thank you so much, Dida. Let's go ahead and take a look at the TMZ update because I had to go to my lawyer, Miss ChatGPT, to see what the possibilities are of what could have happened on this particular flight. So let's go ahead and see. By the way, there's a new Diddy situation. I don't want to get into it today, you guys, because I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's the darkness because it's really cloudy and whatnot, but he's being investigated for another crime and it's being taken really, really, really seriously. So it looks like he might be standing trial again in the future, potentially even the near future. So like my co-reporter Dita just said, there has been a TMZ update. So I am currently loading it up. And what I'm going to do is I am going to share the screen with you guys so we can see what exactly went down. Dun, 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 dun. So let me see. I've got the article queued up. Let me go ahead, share my screen so we can all see what exactly it is that they have to say about this situation. Mind you, this is Porsha's word. And one thing about Porsha is she is a chronic liar. Listen, it very well could be true, but I'm just reminding y'all, Porsha is a chronic liar. If there's one thing my girl's going to do, it's lie. It's beat you up and lie. That's what it is. So here is the article. Porsha Williams, I was verbally assaulted on Delta flight. FBI still investigating. Her hair and makeup looks absolutely fabulous here, might I add. Porsha Williams is clearing the air about a dramatic Delta Airlines flight that landed her on the FBI's radar. Her lawyer, Joe Hibachi, tells TMZ, quote, Ms. Williams was verbally assaulted by an irate and unhinged passenger without provocation. The passenger then proceeded to make false allegations that were in direct conflict with observations from several eyewitnesses. So maybe that's why she was acting so calm, cool, and collected when she was escorted off the flight by the FBI agents. Maybe this is true. Maybe, she knew that she was in the right and she had nothing to be frantic over. Her lawyer added, as with any incident occurring abroad on an aircraft, federal authorities are required to conduct an investigation involving all parties to determine what, if any, offenses occurred. Ms. Williams has every intention of cooperating with law enforcement to whatever extent necessary and remains confident that the passenger will be charged. Damn. Do you guys think it was like an overzealous fan or something like that of the show who happens to hate Porsha and decided to drag her on that flight? Yesterday, a spokesperson for FBI Atlanta told us they were looking into whether federal charges apply to the incident involving the RHOA star and at least one other person. According to a spokesperson for Delta, after the incident, the flight continued to its destination without issue, which is strange. So they were removed from the flight and then the flight had to continue on. Like this wasn't the end of the flight, or did the flight not even take off? Like what really happened? I feel like I'm missing something there. Porsha was returning home from BravoCon weekend in Las Vegas, taking part in panels and posing for cameras along with her RHOA castmates. So there you go, you guys. That is Porsha's side of things. It very well could be true, but do not forget, Porsha Williams is nothing if not a liar. But at the same time, for what it's worth, a lot of reality TV fans are a little bit unhinged too. So that very well could be exactly what happened. I'm really, really, really looking forward to seeing how this all plays out. And it looks as though if the investigation concludes that the FBI wants to press charges, it looks like Porsha would be very much in support of that and would do everything she could on her side to make sure that the charges stuck. So it's going to be a really interesting case to watch go down. Good morning, Amelia. Nice to see you. Ali says it was Simon. Look, Simon, There's some people out here that think that you're the one who who might have been dragging Porsha on that flight. Is it true? Or who might have reported her? But he couldn't have been him on the flight because he was deported, and I don't think he's ever allowed back in the US after entering by fudging his name and his identity. Thanks again for the tip, Dita. Dita says, if Porsha was escorted out, was the passenger detained? That is such a good question. So far there's no official update photos or videos about what went down with the other passenger. So we have no clue on that side. But as soon as I get that information, I am going to be sharing.